everyone, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a homemade sunscreen solid lotion bar. I like using homemade sunscreen because I have found that in the conventional sunscreens there are a lot of toxins and ingredients in there that I really don't want to be slathering all over my kids all summer long. Now for us, typically we don't even wear sunscreen. We do a lot of time outside during the summer months and even during the winter months all year long to really get that vitamin D, because vitamin D is very important and almost everybody has a vitamin D deficiency, and the best way to get vitamin D is just from the sunlight. So we spend a lot of times outside, and I typically try to even avoid using sunscreen altogether so we can get that vitamin D. Put my kids in long sleeve swim shirts when we go to the beach. They wear hats on their heads to protect their faces. We come in during the hottest time of day just naturally because that's during nap time. We sit in the shade if it's going to be extremely hot, but I try to find ways that we can be outside getting vitamin D but without having to always wear sunscreen or get burnt, because I do agree that getting sunburnt is not a good idea. So I try to keep my kids from getting sunburned by doing some of those types of things. But when we go on a beach trip where we're gonna be swimming or out in the sun all day long, then I like to put sunscreen on their faces or any skin that's exposed to help with them not getting sunburned. And instead of using conventional sunscreen that I buy from the store, I just make my own. I've been making my own for several years and I've never had any issues. We've taken it with us to the beach and didn't get sunburned. So you can decide if you want to make your own sunscreen or if you want to just purchase it. There are some natural options at the store, but I have found those to be really expensive and this is really cheap. And also these ingredients are all natural and they're fine to put on a baby. And since I do have a baby this summer, I am going to be using this sunscreen on him because I know there are some sunscreens that are not recommended for children under age 6 months. So with all of that, I'm gonna go in now and show you guys how to make a sunscreen. Now I'm making these into bars because that's gonna make it a lot easier to apply. I have 5 little kids and getting sunscreen on them sometimes feels like a full-time job when we're at the beach, and they all scream and hate when I put it onto their faces. That spray kind, they absolutely hate that. So these bars are very convenient. They make applying it to the face and really the whole entire body really, really easy. So for this recipe, I'm using coconut oil. Now, coconut oil has a natural SPF of about 4 or 5. And so obviously that alone isn't going to be a very great sunscreen. Beeswax, I'm using the beeswax because beeswax will make the sunscreen more waterproof. I don't know if it's 100% waterproof compared to other sunscreens, but it does make it to where the water runs off and it stays on the skin longer, and so that's why I like to add in the beeswax, and that's going to help it to shape into the bars when I go to put them into their molds. And then I'm using some cocoa butter. I absolutely love the smell of cocoa butter. It has some amazing benefits for the skin. If you don't have cocoa butter, you could use shea butter or mango butter in replace of the cocoa butter in this recipe. So for this recipe, I'm using equal parts of the coconut oil, beeswax, and cocoa butter. I'm going to be doing a ½ cup of each of these now because that's the amount that I want to make. But obviously, if you want to make more or less, you can just adjust the recipe accordingly. And then the last ingredients that I'll be adding in is non-nano zinc oxide, and that's the ingredient that's going to make this sunscreen SPF. Now, depending on how much you add in will determine the SPF of your sunscreen. So it's kind of hard to say the exact SPF of the sunscreen because it will depend on how much you put in. So the non-nano zinc oxide can be anywhere from 2 to 20 SPF depending on the amount that you put in here. So I'm gonna just start off by adding my ingredients into this here saucepan. So I'm going to melt them together. So I'm adding in all the ingredients, the beeswax, coconut oil, and the cocoa butter. And now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it over the stove and I'm gonna melt it over low heat to make sure that nothing burns, and stir it often. And then I will come back and we'll add in the zinc oxide and put it inside of our molds. Okay, so now that all of my ingredients are melted, I'm just going to add in my non-nano zinc oxide, and I am doing about 1/4 cup. And I'm going to stir that in to make sure that it's mixed in well with the other ingredients. And at this time, if you want, you can add in some essential oils to scent it and just to give it some more benefits. Now make sure you don't add in any photosensitive essential oils. So any citrus essential oils, I would stay away from those. Now I'm just going to pour this into my molds here and allow them to harden. I'm gonna let these sit for about 8 hours or until they're completely hardened, and then I can pop them out of the mold and they are ready to use. Now you can store these at room temperature, or you can keep them in the refrigerator. That will make them more soothing on sunburned skin. It is best to keep these out of direct sunlight and temperatures below 80 degrees so they don't melt. If you live in a warmer climate or you think that they're getting kind of melty, just put them in the refrigerator and they should harden back up. Now this recipe should be good for about a year, and so like I like to make enough just for the season, and then I'll make some more next year when it's time to get the sunscreen out again in the summertime. All right guys, that's it. It's super easy. If you want some more tips on using essential oils safely or any other DIY recipes like this, be sure to check out my description box. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every single week on essential oil education. I share a lot of DIY natural recipes and food from scratch cooking videos. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.